Elon Musk went on the All In podcast, and here he is trying to clarify what his actual political ideology here is. He says that he has voted for Democrats in the past, but now he wants to vote GOP because the Democratic Party is out of control and they're being held hostage by, well, you'll see who he claims are controlling them now.
And I would classify myself as a moderate, and neither Republican nor Democrat. And in fact, I have voted overwhelmingly for Democrats historically, overwhelmingly. Like I'm not sure. I might never have voted for a Republican, just to be clear.
Right.
Now this election, I will. The Democratic Party is overly controlled by the unions and by the trial lawyers, particularly the class action lawyers. And generally, if you'll see something that is not in the interest of the people, on the Democrat side, it's going to come because of the unions, which is just another form of monopoly, and the trial lawyers. That's where actions will be happening from the Democrat side. They're not in the interest of the people. And then, to be fair, on the Republican side, there's if you say like where there's something like not ideal happening, it's because of corporate evil and religious zealotry. That's generally where the bad things will be coming from on the Republican side. That are not representative of the people. So
the people.
In the case of Biden, he is simply too much captured by the unions, which was not the case with Obama.
True.
In the case of Obama, you could have, he was sort of quite reasonable, and I think he took more of a view that obviously you need to take the concerns of the unions into account, but there are bigger issues at stake, and unfortunately, Biden does not do that.
So that incredibly revealing clip, in my opinion, and we just did a deep dive into Binder's debate with Tim Pool, who also, classifies himself not as a moderate, as a centrist, whatever, right? But in reality, these are right-wing positions. Being anti-union is a right-wing positioning. When he talks about, and he's gonna, as Matt pointed out, I don't really care who he votes. Who cares who he votes for when he donates to politicians, right? Like that doesn't really matter. But this goes to show that capitalists like Elon Musk, they view the unionization, and when he says class action lawyers, it just means like I'm getting sued because I've segregated my plants and it's a huge problem and I allowed mass racism against my employees. But they view this as he views this as an existential threat to his business, unionization, or his corporate profits. He conflates that with the people, and he's signaling, hey, Democrats, if you don't fall in line, he doesn't mean his vote's going away. He means his money's going away.
He's donated his entire life to both sides. This idea that he hasn't, it's ultimate narcissism. I don't know, actually, let me really rack my brain to think about if I've ever cast a vote for it. It doesn't matter. You've given money both ways.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he does have a problem with lawyers now that he's being sued for extreme, South African apartheid, Jim Crow South style racism at the Fremont Tesla factory. He has been putting chips into monkey brains to the point where it's causing severe distress to those animals. I imagine he has a problem with lawyers, and we know that all of these sort of capitalists, billionaires have a problem with unions because it's the only way working people can stand up against them.
Right, just a quick look up of who he's donated to. I mean, I'm really fast. Back in 2017, Kevin McCarthy, National Republican Congressional Committee. This is just a quick look. There's a few donations to Dianne Feinstein. Sure, I mean that's what these wealthy people do. John Cornyn, he's donated to Tom Tillis. Yeah. Also, he's donated to Chris Coons and Janine Shaheen. I mean. Even the Democrats, though, that he's donated to, they're fairly right-wing Democrats.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And let's just talk about just this donate. When people donate one side or the other, people like Crowder often say so many donations going into Democrats, for instance. That's because they think the Democrats are going to be the ones governing. And we have two capitalist parties, so of course they're going to be accepting of those two things. But This idea that like capitalists have turned on the Republican Party is always going to be ludicrous. If they could have just a Republican in there that would give them exactly what they want without it being a PR problem, like this is clearly for Elon. He has to say like he has a problem with religious zealotry and stuff like that.
Yeah, they want a Republican without the culture war stuff, and but the Republican base wants the culture war stuff more than anything.
You don't win elections that way.
Yeah. So these wealthy people who love Republicans, that's what puts them in this dilemma. I really want to vote for all these Republicans, but then it looks bad on me. Looks bad.
And when he talks about how unions are another monopoly, right, which is hilarious. The idea that he's one anti-monopoly is funny, given the fact that I believe that he was not supportive of certain electronic vehicle, and please correct me if I'm wrong, Bradley or Matt, charging stations, because he wanted them to be specific to Tesla.
No, you got it wrong.
Oh, it's the opposite?
He had the exact opposite, that he allowed his technology to be open source for the cynical reason of that becoming the standard.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Well, regardless, I mean, I think Tesla has operated in a way that they want to corner the market on electronic vehicles, but I guess that's a besides the point. I had it in the inverse. It is hilarious to claim that unions are monopolies, especially as we're seeing like the Amazon union, for example, being an independent union, and it's ludicrous. But
also, I want to being that being that we just talked before about the whole abortion debate I had with Tim Pool. Glenn Greenwald, a little while ago, was defending, Elon Musk, by bringing up how Tesla will, in light of that Supreme Court leak of what will possibly happen to Roe v. Wade. Glenn Greenwald was sharing how, Elon Musk cannot be right-wing because Tesla has announced it is covering travel costs for employees seeking out-of-state abortions. Now, remember, Tesla HQ is now located in Texas, which is going to have probably the most extreme restrictions, as in no abortions at all, once Roe v. Wade is, if it is, knocked down. But that's not, Elon doesn't have this abortion position because he's Mr. Women's Rights. He has this abortion position because what happens with his female or employees when they get pregnant? They don't work and they get paid. I mean, there's been former Tesla workers who have been on the record saying that they got fired after getting pregnant. They've got fired after taking childcare leave. I mean, it's these guys don't want to pay for their hardworking employees if they have the gall to go ahead and start a family.
Yeah.
I mean, Glenn Greenwald's just doing his pro bono work on behalf of like a future corporate fascism where you have to rely on your boss to get an abortion, which is the same thing as healthcare. And his whole reaction to this Roe v. Wade thing itself. I mean, let's just go to the Dave Rubin clip because that we should welcome this as like democratization because it's getting it's no longer being stopped by the Supreme Court, but we're going to throw it back to the states, which are extremely gerrymandered by the type of people that donate to the people he represents with publicity. So yeah, let's play this Glenn Greenwald clip.